Happy Wednesday, Wall Street Bets New. Today got a few things to look at. Specifically, we're going to take a look at GameStop, some very interesting price action since I last took a look at the markets on Monday. And yesterday, a nice recovery from the lows into today. Today, GameStop up just a little bit. And want to take a look at the major market indexes as well, specifically SPY, QQQ, and the Russell 2000. For those of you who are interested in me taking a look at other tickers, please feel free to put them in the chats. Or the comments. I do think it's worth mentioning that we do have some earnings coming in after hours today, specifically PayPal, Etsy, Uber, Twilio, and Fastly that have been very exciting companies over the last year or two. So I think those are earnings that are definitely worth paying attention to, and we will probably take a look at those tomorrow depending on how things play out after hours today. So taking a look at GameStop, we'll start here. We've been following this triangle consolidation. As we can see, we have this top trend line and bottom trend line marked off by these white lines. Last week on April 26th, or actually 2 weeks ago on April 26th now, we had a breakout of this triangle above the one-day 21. We spent all of last week consolidating above the one-day 21, which was a very good look. And unfortunately, Monday of this week, with the rest of the market kind of pulling back a little bit, we did sell back down. So a pattern I would like to point out is we can see very clearly, while price action was consolidating in this triangle, a lot of the price action spent time between the one-day 55, which is the green line, and the one-day 21, which is the yellow line. And right now, we came right back down below the one-day 21, tapped this major horizontal coming in at 154.34, and the one-day 55 and bounced off. We bounced off of this EMA all the way today to touch the one-day 21 and have been rejected. So as we can see, price action is now kind of bouncing between these major EMAs. But ultimately, the fact that we found support, that GameStop found support on this one-day 55 and this major horizontal support, really tells me not too much has changed overall. Still, we see a lot of buyers coming in along these areas, which is a good sign. Typically, these major supports can get tested multiple times, 3, 4, 5, 6 times as an equity consolidates, and it looks like that's what we're still seeing. I did get a little hopeful a couple weeks ago when we broke out above the top of this triangle that this was the beginning of the next run, but it does seem like it will take a bit more time for GameStop to kind of consolidate and potentially build more momentum before its next move up. Overall, though, Monday was a little bit disheartening with the pullback, but with that said, the fact that these major supports are holding is overall a good sign for our long-term holders. Down to the 4-hour chart, we can see that this 4-hour 100 has been supported price action very nicely yesterday and so far today as well, at like the one-day chart getting rejected by the 21 EMA, but as well the 55 EMA here. So a very nice tap. We can see if we zoom in there, we can see how price action tapped the EMA today and got rejected, but still well above its 154 horizontal and this 4-hour 100. Down to the 1-hour time frame, we do have a bit of sell pressure off of the 1-hour EMAs. We can see this last hour from 11:30 to 12:30 Eastern time did get rejected by this grouping of EMAs around 165, and more so the 1-hour 21 around 163. So overall, the EMAs are rejecting price action. If we zoom out here, let's take a look at the oscillators. The oscillators are a little bit on the one-day bearish to a neutral. We can see that RSI is pretty flat, sitting on the midline around 50, but stochastics definitely crossing down with a little bit more of a bearish tone. So not the best signal from the oscillators right now, but overall, like I said, as long as we're above this 154 horizontal and above this green one-day 55, GameStop does look okay. So now on to SPY. We did have a very interesting price action yesterday. To go over the events of the last few weeks, we can clearly see that this horizontal line at 417.89 was at first resistance for most of April. Back on April 16th, we had the first touch, but then April 23rd all the way through April 28th, every single touch got rejected. Then on April 29th, we broke through. April 30th, went back down. May 3rd, right above, but sold into it. And yesterday, the breakdown. Now, interestingly enough, where is price action getting stopped today? Right on that horizontal at 417.89. The actual high of today so far is 417.63. So right in that area, we're seeing some sell pressure, but overall, we can see there's this bottom horizontal at 411.61 that was supporting price action during the same time period. And we can see yesterday very clearly, huge buy pressure off of this horizontal. The low of yesterday was actually 411.67. This horizontal is at 411.61. Let's look at the buy pressure off of this. Just yesterday alone, the bounce off of this horizontal was almost a 1% move, and since then, price action's back up 1.3%. So major buying coming off this area. Ultimately, though, yesterday, Monday and yesterday did seem like some significant downside just because we haven't been used to that kind of selling. We can see very clearly SPY is still in this channel at all-time highs, so really nothing to get too concerned about yet. Now, with that said, RSI is crossed down, but today the posture is a little bit more bullish. Stochastics are crossing down. Stochastics are crossing down below the 80 extreme and back into the bull control zone in a kind of a bearish posture. So oscillators are looking a bit weak here, but ultimately, as long as price action is finding support above this 411 area, and more specifically the 1-day 21, price action looks strong. Now on to QQQ. QQQ, kind of the same thing, came down, past the 1-day 21, which is a bit more than SPY, as SPY did find support on the 1-day 21, but ultimately tapping this 1-day 55 and major horizontal support around 329 and finding support. Today, a bit of recovery, up 0.38%, but ultimately still in this channel. So it's yet to be seen if QQQ will break above the 1-day 21 or test it. That's what I'll be watching. I'll be watching to see what happens on the next test of 335, which is this horizontal here, and 329, which is the horizontal down here. Right now, QQQ is in a bit of the middle of a range. So typically when this happens, I just wait to see the reactions off of the next touch of the major EMAs or next touch of the horizontals, as that will be your big indication of where things may be heading. And finally, a look at IWM, or the Russell 2000 ETF. We can very clearly see two very nice bounces off the 1-day 55, which is really no shocker, as we can see since beginning of March, we have multiple tests of this green line, all of them getting bought. We can see back on March 4th and 5th. We can see back here in late March, though we did dip a little bit below the 1-day 55, this area led to some big buying. Back in April 20th and April 21st, tested this green line, the 1-day 55 got bought, and again we can see right now some major support off the 1-day 55. This makes a very clear picture for what to watch for on the Russell 2000 or IWM. As long as this pattern continues and as long as we see buying on the 1-day 55, this will obviously be a safe place to enter long positions. But if we do get a clear signal in the next few weeks or next few months that this area has been broken, that's when you let go of your long positions and expect some serious downside. As we can see, once this support breaks, there really won't be much support to quite lower, and we could see 10%, 5% pullback. It does seem likely if we do lose supports in this area. With that said, the oscillators are looking a bit weak, and we are seeing rejection from the 1-day 21. So this could just be an initial reaction off this area, but so far today, things are looking pretty good. We did get a couple of requests from the community, so I'm going to go over those right now. We got a request to look at MNR, which today is trading at $19.13, up 4.82%. Looking really good. Looks like they had earnings, which actually did not do so well. Let's see, actually missed by a bit, but so far price action looking very good today. So let's take a look at the oscillators. As we can see, price action has been consolidating, or finding support more so on the 1-day 21 and 1-day 55 for some time here. We can see that RSI in a very bullish posture right now. We can see stochastics as well in a very bullish posture. So overall, things are looking quite strong here. As long as price action is above this 1-day 21, this does look like it will have some significant more upside. Additionally, it does look like we are making all-time. Let's actually zoom out and see. Are we making all-time highs today? Yes. It does look like the previous all-time highs were set all the way back in December of 2017, around $18.48. And today we're breaking right through those pretty easily. So this making new all-time highs. Oscillators giving buy signals, looking very strong. I wouldn't be surprised to see some more upside here. So MNR looking very strong. And then additionally, I did get a request for AMC. AMC looking a bit weaker here, losing support of the 1-day 21 last week, and now today starting to close below the 1-day 55. We still do have 3.5 hours left on the trading day. So a lot of trading to go before we actually do close below this area. But as we can actually see back in early April, this was the bottoming of that sell-off. So maybe we do find support here, but at the moment with the oscillators in a downwards posture and losing support of this 1-day 55, things do look quite weak. So that is going to be all for today. That is the stock request we got and the recap of the major market indexes. Just to recap on GameStop, as long as GameStop does close a day above the 1-day 55 and more so above the 1-day 21, or sorry, above the 1-day 55, this green line, and above support at 154.34, GME does look okay, and that's the area I would watch. As long as price action stays above the 154 area, I think it's okay to hold your longs and look for some more upside. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will be back tomorrow. So if you have any requests for specific tickers, please feel free to put them in the comments. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.